there is an aspect in the revolution that every county must take into consideration what Cameroon is doing, the impact and the consequences of some of the things they are doing, how it affects us as a people, and how we need to look at them to rethink our strategy. So there is a report of a certain release that has been made, which I want Onye to present that report to us in a few minutes so we can react to it. We get every county draft to look at some of these reports so that we know the stakes involved, what why we must draft and why we must be free now. Right after that, I'll get some of your brief comments so that we can move on. Onye, over to you.
Yeah, Mr. Ta, illegal arrest is something that has come to stay in Ambazonia, but Ambazonians must try their best to ensure that they stop that injustice, In a heartwarming turn of events, Vitalis, an Ambazonian citizen, has finally been released from prison in Yaoundé after serving 2 years of a 15-year sentence. Now, what was his crime? We ask. He was accused of failing to report an offense related to what they called secession, which we know that is a charge that has been widely criticized as a blatant attempt to silence the oppressed, the Amazonian people. Vitalis spent 24 long months behind bars for a crime he never committed. His imprisonment is a stark reminder of the colonial system's brutality and disregard for human rights in Amazonia. Vitaly's story is a testament to the suffering of the Amazonian people under the colonial regime. His release is a small victory, but the struggle for freedom and self determination continues. The world is urged to take note of Vitaly's case and the countless others who have been unjustly imprisoned and oppressed by the colonial regime. It is time for the world to stand in solidarity with Amazonian people and demand justice, freedom, and an end to colonial rule. Now, how did this report begin? In 2022, Vitalis, who is just a palm oil transporter, was kidnapped at a colonial police checkpoint and accused of spying for Amazonians. Despite irregularities in the evidence, including the lack of a certified phone expert in court, Vitalis was initially sentenced to 15 years in prison. You can imagine that. After a successful appeal led by a certain barrister Muna, the sentence was reduced to 1 year, and Vitalis has now been reunited with his family. Now, if you look at it critically, you will agree with us that this case highlights concerns about the colonial legal process and human rights. Imagine humans being tried in military courts, but that's even by the way, with many innocent Amazonians still languishing in prisons due to unjust accusations and so many others dead. So we need to keep emphasizing the importance of advocating for the rights of La Republic to Cameroons, treatment, unjust treatment on Ambazonians facing unjust accusations. Vitalis is only lucky and fortunate, we would say here. Should we talk about Samuel Wazizi or should we talk about Martini Zogo? Well, their case is still very fresh in our minds about their strange disappearance and deaths later. Vitaly's story is a testament to the struggle of the Aboriginal people, I would say again, and the need for continued advocacy and support in the fight for justice and freedom should be held high. Now, this case in particular raises serious concerns about the colonial legal processes, which includes arbitrary arrest and detention, lack of due process, unreliable evidence, harsh sentencing, then the worst of all is targeting of Amazonians based on their identity. We must continue to shine a light on the injustices faced by the Aboriginal people and advocate for their rights to freedom. Well, at this point, I would say that we demand that the colonial regime respect human rights and engage in peaceful dialogue to resolve this long war. Mr. Cha.